AIDS, the killer disease wrecking millions of lives across the world. A disease that is widespread in India, more widespread than most of us care to acknowledge. Every year, hundreds and thousands of people contract HIV and several thousands die of AIDS. It's happening here in India right now. Spare a thought to those who contract the disease. Not only do they live through the trauma of their condition, but also face discrimination and lack of understanding from those around them. And when they die, the trauma continues for those who depend on them, old parents and young children. What will become of Kumari, Rani, Anusha, Wajid? Will they survive? Will they grow? Or will they only face fear, disapproval and despair? Governments and social sector agencies have taken up the problem on a war footing, especially in Andhra Pradesh, which has the dubious distinction of being home to the highest number of HIV/AIDS cases. Vasavya Mahila Mandali, based in Vijayawada, is contributing to the fight against AIDS in its own unique way by focusing on those children who have been orphaned by AIDS or who are otherwise in need of support. Vasavya is the acronym for Reality, Social Outlook, Development of the Individual Personality and Women's Association. VMM was founded in 1969. It's a non-profit, non-governmental, non-political, voluntary organization which works for the all-round development of the women, children and youth.
Vasavya Mahila Mandali aims at empowering women and children in vulnerable situations. Our interventions are need-based with the community participation. We have strong linkages with the government and non-government organizations. Vasavya Mahila Mandali strongly believes that when we can change a woman, we can change the family and entire society.
Through these decades, VMM has grown as a pioneer service organization, extending services to more than 2 lakh people spread over rural and urban Andhra Pradesh. VMM is inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of secular, social and constructive work. Vasavya Mahila Mandali's participatory network of NGOs and individuals enables them to reach their goals. Dutch Bank Asia Foundation is supporting VMM to provide free education to the children affected by HIV/AIDS.
We are very happy and thankful for the kind gesture of the Education Development Center Incorporated and Dutch Bank Asia Foundation to come forward to support for more than 1900 children, both for formal education and for also non-formal education. The non-formal education is both giving literacy and also vocational training for these children. And besides these things, to improve their quality of life and also to go ahead with their trauma, VMM has addressed the issue through providing picnics, outings and also developed school support groups where the children have started mutual sharing and learning of their feelings and emotions with the other children.
This film is a documentation of 4 lives among the many that VMM has touched. Kumari lived with her father, mother, sister and younger brother. When she was 11, her father died of AIDS. Even as her mother struggled to manage the family, her infant brother too succumbed to AIDS. Soon it was her mother's turn to go. Orphaned, the 2 girls now stayed with relatives, Kumari with her grandmother and her sister with an uncle. Grandmother, facing financial hardships, could not welcome Kumari. And Kumari had no choice but to begin working at a very young age. Sometimes Kumari resorted to begging to feed herself and her grandmother. Kumari did manage to go to school for a while, but that did not last long. She soon dropped out. Kumari found a job at a juice shop where she earned 20 rupees a day. She used to spend 2 rupees for herself and gave the rest to her grandmother. Kumari missed her parents. To distract herself from the painful memories of death and loss, she picked up a tobacco chewing habit. Soon it was an addiction, putting her health in danger. And to make things worse, her grandmother also tested positive for HIV. Kumari constantly feared the future. What was she to do after her only relative, her grandmother, died? Her fears turned to reality. Death was inevitable, and her grandmother too died of AIDS. Kumari was all alone. Kumari's story came to VMM's notice. VMM volunteers approached her and brought to Swadhar Home, a home for destitute women and girl children. Here, she received the much-needed support.
హాస్టల్లోకి చేర్పించారు, యూనిఫామ్ ఇచ్చారు, బ్యాగులు ఇచ్చారు, ఫీజు కట్టారు. మళ్ళీ ఇది 10th వరకు చదివి నర్సింగ్ అవుతా.
At VMM, she met other children and shared their feelings and experiences. She learned the dangers of chewing tobacco and gave up the habit gradually. Today, she is being trained in bookbinding. VMM has also enrolled her in a formal school. She is happy to be back in school, getting education as well as learning vocational skill that can help her in future. Kumari is today a confident girl, a far cry from the traumatized, helpless child that HIV/AIDS had turned her into. VMM has certainly changed her life. Another time, another story. Rani and Anusha. Rani is 12 years old and Anusha is 10. They were orphaned 3 years ago when their parents died of AIDS. Before their death, parents had a house, but it was sold to find money for treatment during their last days. The children were now left with no parents and no home. Their 60-year-old grandmother took up their care, and 3 of them began living in a small hut near the fruit market. The place where they lived was not safe. It was surrounded by automobile repair shops and daily wage workers. Rani was a teenager and her grandmother feared for Rani's safety.
నా పేరు మేరీ అండి. ఇదివరకు అట్టకాయలు అమ్మేదాన్ని. అక్కడ నుంచి బొంబాయి కాలనీ వచ్చి 2వ సంవత్సరం అండి. వాళ్ళ అమ్మగారు చచ్చిపోయాక ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి హాస్టల్లో వేద్దాం అనుకున్నామంటే ఇక్కడ వాతావరణాలు బాగాలేదు, మగోళ్ళు లేరు, మాకు ఎవరు లేరని హాస్టల్లో వేసానండి. పెద్ద పాపని, చిన్న పాపని నా దగ్గర నుంచి చేసుకున్నానండి. ఏదో ఆ బండి పెట్టుకొని బతుకుతున్నామండి.
The grandmother's meager earnings by selling fruit and vegetables were not enough to meet the needs of the family. Rani had been attending school before her parents died. But now, with no income to speak of, she dropped out of school and stayed at home. She sometimes went to work as daily laborer to add her bit to the tiny family income. Meanwhile, both sisters went to get tested for HIV. Rani turned out negative, while Anusha tested positive. The girl's grandmother approached many NGOs to support the children, and VMM came to their rescue. They were supported under VMM's home-based care and support program. With VMM's support, both girls were able to go back to school, but Anusha ran into a problem. Being HIV positive made her an easy target for discrimination by her classmates and school. Even after repeated sensitization programs by VMM staff, the attitude of her school did not change. Finally, she was preferred to withdraw from school.
నా పేరు అనూష, నేను 4th క్లాస్ చదువుతున్నాను. వాసవి మహిళా మండలి చిల్లర సపోర్ట్ గ్రూప్ మెంబర్. నేను గవర్నమెంట్ స్కూల్లో చదువుతున్నాను. నాకు అమ్మ నాన్న లేరు, మా అమ్మ చూసుకుంటుంది. డాక్టర్ దిరిష గారు బుక్స్, బ్యాగ్స్ అన్నీ ఇస్తున్నారు. మేము వాటితో చదువుకుంటాము. పెద్ద అయిన తర్వాత లాయర్ అవ్వాలనుకుంటున్నాను. నాకు 5 ఫ్రెండ్స్ వాళ్ళతో నేను రోజు ఆడుకుంటాను, స్కూల్లో చక్కగా చదువుకుంటాను. వాళ్ళు మా ఇంటికి వస్తారు, నేను వాళ్ళ ఇంటికి వెళ్తాను, హ్యాపీగా ఉండిద్ది. అప్పుడప్పుడు నేను ఆడుకోలేకపోతాను, మా ఫ్రెండ్స్ వచ్చి లేపి ఆడిపిస్తారు.
Rani, however, has been luckier. She went back to school and is now in 8th standard. Rani is now the leader of Children's Support Group at VMM. She is talented and actively participates in all home-based care and support workshops and training programs. She is good at role plays, drawing, singing and dancing. Through an advocacy initiative with celebrities organized by VMM, Rani recently met Chiranjeevi, one of the popular South Indian film stars.
నా పేరు రాఘవరాణి, నేను 8th క్లాస్ చదువుతున్నాను. నేను పెద్ద అయిన తర్వాత డాక్టర్ అవ్వాలనుకుంటున్నాను. ఎందుకంటే హెచ్ఐవితో బాధపడుతున్న పిల్లలకి హెల్ప్ చేయడానికి. మా అమ్మ నాన్న హెచ్ఐవితో చనిపోయారు. మా అమ్మమ్మే మమ్మల్ని స్కూల్ దగ్గర కాయలమ్మి మమ్మల్ని పోషిస్తుంది.
VMM has also been of immense support to the grandmother, recognizing and working with her psychosocial and emotional needs. The grandmother is now part of the Granny's Club, a place where she gets moral support from others with similar experiences. Today, she is an active supporter of home-based care and support program and promotes voluntary HIV testing within the community. She has income-generating support from home-based care and support program. VMM has once again made a difference to a family that was nearly laid to ruin by HIV/AIDS. And finally, the story of Wajid, a youngster in need of support. In his case, HIV/AIDS was not the villain. Looking at Wajid today, you would hardly imagine what this youngster has been through. The confident boy is about to appear for his 10th class exam, and he is determined to get through and go beyond. Just a few years ago, Wajid's story was quite different. Wajid wanted to study. While his younger siblings went to school, Wajid's father wouldn't hear of Wajid studying. The oldest one was meant to work to bring in the money. Things went from bad to worse till Wajid's father even burnt the few books Wajid had. In a fit of frustration, Wajid left home and went to see his uncle. His journey did not get very far. He was picked up by the police at the railway station for ticketless travelling. When the police let him go, Wajid joined the thousands of children like himself on the streets of Vijayawada. He became a street child. He met others like himself and made friends. He began to pick rags and sell. While he was earning up to 50 rupees a day, he was still directionless, and he was nowhere near his dream of studying. At around this time, he met a VMM volunteer. VMM gave him support and direction and encouraged him to pick up his studies again. Even when he gets a few minutes' time during his work, Wajid prefers to get back to his books.
నా పేరు వాజిద్, మా ఊరు హైదరాబాద్. మా ఇంట్లో మా నాన్న, మా అమ్మ, మా చెల్లి, మా తమ్ముడు ఉండేవాళ్ళు. నాకేమో చదువుకోవాలని ఇష్టం. అమ్మేమో చదువుకోమనేది, నాన్న అయితే కొట్టేవాడు. డైలీ తాగేసి వచ్చి కొట్టేసి నువ్వు పనికి వెళ్ళి డబ్బులు తీసుకురామని కొట్టేవాడు. దాంతో డైలీ బాధపడి ఒకరోజు బండి ఎక్కేసి వచ్చేసాను. నేను ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేసి రైల్వే స్టేషన్లో కాగితాలు ఆడడం అవి చేశాను. సరే ఇలా అసైన్మెంట్ల మూలలో అన్నోళ్ళు వచ్చేసి ఇలా చెప్పేవారు, నువ్వు చదువుకుంటానంటే మేము చదివిస్తామని చెప్పేవారు. ఆ విధంగా 2-3 సార్లు చెప్పడం వల్ల నేను చదువుకుంటానంటే ఇక్కడ చదువుకోవడానికి బుక్కులు ఇచ్చారు. ఇంకా చదువుతానంటే చదువుకి ఇప్పుడు ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నాను. ఇప్పుడు ప్రిపేర్ అయిన తర్వాత ఇంకా చదివిపిస్తానని చెప్పారు.
Wajid could save few rupees with VMM. He extended financial help out of his savings to a friend who met with an accident. Wajid also stood as an inspiring example to his friends who resumed their studies. These are but a few stories. There are hundreds more. Some with happy endings, some perhaps less so. VMM is committed to making that difference, one person at a time. VMM recreating lives, living up to its goal of care and commitment to humanity.